Good day, everybody. This is BDF44 coming at you with another one of those Laker talk videos. Magic Johnson, Rob Pelinka, both of them had very, very important outings today in terms of airing out what they had to say. Obviously, Magic had a lot to say. And Rob Pelinka, about an hour after that interview, had to introduce Frank Vogel as coach. Timing. Magic Johnson, to me, ladies and gentlemen, Magic Johnson is on a war path. A full-fledged war path. I'm talking Daenerys with the dragons, burning stuff to the ground. Sorry for the spoiler. At the end of the day, truly, people, truly, this looks like somebody who's making good on some very, very serious threats. Y'all played with the wrong one. Y'all talked behind the wrong man's back. He got on TV today on First Take ESPN with Stephen A. Smith, Molly, and Max Kellerman, and he just basically told everybody that they meaning Jeannie, Rob, knew for 100% fact that Magic was going to be in at a limited role because he had other ventures that were going to be more lucrative for him. So he needed to give those the proper attention as well, but he wanted to still be available to the Lakers as president. And most people, the natural reaction to that is, well, why did Jeannie give him a job that's going to be full-time, knowing that he was only going to be there for the part-time hours? Why would he take a job under those same circumstances? And the answer is because he was the only way we were going to get LeBron James and or whatever else is coming our way. There was nobody else in that front office. No one had been able to. Nor was no one going to be able to attract a free agent like that. Now, some would say LeBron was coming in anyway. The Lakers don't know that. They may speculate like I can speculate, but at the end of the day, they truly don't know what LeBron James was going to do. But what they did know is they had Magic Johnson at his house at 9:01 on free agency night, and the rest is history. So Magic had, did his job. The problem is he didn't complete the job. We need Magic Johnson still. We need him in place as a face. And unfortunately, we don't have that because things went left. So as far as I'm concerned, I don't think any free agents that are in the range that we're looking at have a whole lot of tangible evidence that this is a place they should invest in for the next 3-4 years. If they decide to come here, they're jumping into a leap of faith. The evidence shows that this is not a good place to come to. So, what does that mean for Laker fans? What does that mean for us? Well, we need to be patient. We need to be like Knicks fans and actually, you need to do the opposite of Knicks fans and believe wholeheartedly that things can go wrong and will go wrong, and so keep your expectations low. That's the smart thing for the fans. But at the same time, let your voice be heard. Do a protest if it gets to that point for you. Go out there and let them know what you feel, because I think that's who's missing. That's whose voice is missing. They're too close to each other in that front office, and they haven't been affected in terms of their bottom line. And the only way it's going to be affected is if we show a strong displeasure for how things are being done. So I'm not one for going out there and picketing stuff that is frivolous in life. There are real things that we need to address socially in our country. But for those of us who are passionate like I am as a fan, this means something to us. When we're dealing with all the real stuff in the world, we want to turn to a team that we can, for about 3 hours a night or whatever, and see a team that's going to compete and see a team that's being run properly. That can be the difference in how we handle our lives, depending on how serious we take this stuff. And a lot of us in America and beyond take our sports extremely seriously, especially as a kid. For me, if the Lakers weren't winning, I was not a nice person to be around. When the Lakers were winning, I was the nicest person you ever met. It was that real for me as a kid. So I can imagine how it is for other people who are even more passionate about this than I am. And, the draft is obviously on point. Of course, as I said, we got Vogel in place. He's saying all the right things. He seems excited. For the most part, at least on the surface. I read differently into that. But if I'm just to look at things at face value, he seems excited and he's saying all the right stuff. Okay. So here's my thing. Magic. The circumstances surrounding you being a Laker president were bad from the jump because you weren't here to do the heavy lifting and the hard work required to make that job a success. You were here to attract someone and then allow others to kind of do the heavy lifting. Because your timeline, you had told your bosses basically that you're going to be here for 3 years. So even though we thought that you were going to be here for the long haul, they knew what time it was. Even still, as things are unfolding, and especially when that Anthony Davis trade went left, and guys were trying to figure out how to handle the aftermath of such a big disappointment, that was when I think we needed Magic to kind of show like a strong leadership stance. Like, for example, and I reference this a lot, but the Zubats trade, he should have been throwing fire and ice to make sure that that never happened. You know, he should have been spitting fire. He should have been making sure that guys understood how important it was to value players properly. That was where I think Magic could have did a better job. Now, I don't know who was willing to listen to Magic, who wasn't. He alluded to the fact that people weren't listening. Guys were divided. Too many voices in-house. But Magic, you're the man in that situation. I know Genie's the owner, but at some point in time, and I say this with real respect in my heart, a man just got to be a man, bro. You got to put your foot down and say, look, this is the leadership you put me here to lead. And how things are being run is not proper, or how things are being run I don't agree with, or whatever the opinion is. That needs to be heard. Instead of saying, you know what, guys ain't doing the right things, people are talking behind my back, so I got to bounce. People are going to talk behind your back when they want your job. They're going to also talk behind your back when they want your job and they know that you're not doing it to the best of your ability. They're also going to even furthermore want you out of there when they know they're doing the heavy lifting that you're being paid to do. So while I don't like what Rob and all those the front office folks are being accused of, I would be lying if I said I didn't understand where their frustration may have come from. I mean, you sitting up here doing all the work and this guy comes in and gets all the credit. And then he goes away, and when things are bad, you may see him, you may not. That's a situation that's going to manifest angst. You're going to be upset in that situation. Like, you know what? Nah, I'm not going to sit here. I want the job. I'm already doing the damn job. And I'm looking around and things are falling apart, and this guy's nowhere to be found. I don't blame Rob in that regard. In that regard, I don't blame Rob, and I don't blame the busboys. Because they're doing the work. Whatever you want to say about them, they're there. 18 hours a day or what have you, they are there. And Magic, you know, as it's being reported and as he's admitted, was not. So fair is fair. Also, how he left, he didn't seem like he understood why that looks so bad, the way that he left. He may have had legitimate gripes. Like I said, I think he's on a war path, so it could be war, but you got to posture yourself in such a way to where you cover your backside where it needs to be covered in terms of people perceiving you properly. You have a legacy to uphold. You're Magic Johnson. So if people are running around talking behind your back and you got to leave, doing it in such a way that make it look like you're waging war, and then going on TV saying, you know, if we get a free agent, it's almost as if you don't realize that what you're doing is going to directly harm that process. Free agents are going to watch you say what you're saying, and then they're going to assess what their future holds. And if I'm listening, if I'm Kawhi Leonard, I'm like, well, I just came out of a situation where I thought people were backstabbing me. There's no way in hell I'm about to walk into one where people are there with the reputation of backstabbing people. Bad as I want to be in LA, I don't want to be in LA if it means I got to relive the Spurs situation. You see what I'm saying? That's Kawhi Leonard's stance if I'm in his circumstance, if I'm assessing things as I would see it through his eyes. Same thing with Kyrie Irving. I went through some stuff where I didn't really like the circumstance I was in. Things weren't great in Cleveland. Things weren't great in Boston. I'm not going to go to the Lakers just knowing that things are not great there. And then the pressure's going to be on me not only to recreate what I've done elsewhere, but also try to get it done here with all the pressures of wearing purple and gold. It just doesn't make any sense for free agents to choose us at this point. Unless they're a lesser free agent with less of a cachet. KD ain't even looking in our direction. I can almost promise you that. So it's like, you put LeBron in a bad situation, Magic. That's the elephant in the room. If you are supportive of the Lakers and you're supportive of LeBron James's next 3 years, You did him no favors, fam. You put him in a position where he can't get no damn people to come play with him. And him not seeing that angle is hard for me to fathom, which makes me think there's other stuff going on, even more so, that we're never going to find out about because of who may be involved. But it's obvious to me that Magic is slightly disingenuous, if I may say so. Slightly disingenuous in regards to how he's telling us he views his actions. He knows, in my heart, I believe he knows he wrong. But I think he's doing it purposely, and I think he's doing it because he's making good on some threats that he probably made in response to some of the things that happened. He said he didn't see the emails. I don't believe Magic's a liar, but I think he's doing a very good job of containing truths that don't benefit the people that he wants to protect and doesn't benefit himself. This is one of those things where I feel like when a person has the type of ability that he has to gather people through charisma and talk people into feeling good about themselves when they're in his presence, those people tend to be the last people you hold accountable, and because of it, sometimes they aren't able to grow in areas they need to. And I think this might be a case of that. Like, Magic just ain't had enough people tell him, hey, look, we love you, we appreciate you, but in this case, I think you should have done this wrong, and you need to listen to me. Like, a guy like Magic Johnson probably won't listen to nobody anyway in that regard. He'll probably just brush that off with a few nice words, a smile, and redirect you into another direction. But the reality is he needed to understand that he had a responsibility just in terms of his own legacy to handle this in a more professional and thoughtful manner instead of just going on a nasty, trashy war path going after his enemies. Like, that's not a good view to see someone so incredibly decorated both on and off the court. It's just a bad way to see him. And I want him to see that. You know, as a fan, I want him to see what I see in that regard. You did LeBron no favors, and because of it, you made yourself look bad. There's another way to go about this, and you got to find it, is what I would tell Magic Johnson if I were close to him. So, with that being said, as I said in another interview, I respect Magic Johnson. I'm not insinuating anything other than him being one of the greatest athletes we've ever heard or seen in history, let alone in my team, the Lakers. So I compartmentalize that. He's done great things for the community that I live in, LA. So for that, you know, there's only so much I will allow myself to say. But at the same time, it's like all of that can be put aside, and you can still look a man in his eyes that you respect and appreciate and say, brother, I don't agree with what you did, and I think you need to take a look at what you did here because you may have missed an angle or two. And in this case, if you want to be seen as somebody who is supporting LeBron James publicly, your actions are telling us that you do not, and that is a bad look. Anyway, that's all I got to say. Much love to everybody. Lakers for life. BDF is my name, and you all have a wonderful day.